Let's take a look at the grid then. John Bow will start at a pole position alongside Andrew Meadeke. We go to row 2 with Greg Crick and Gavin Bullis. Then the next row, Jimmy Richards and Brett Yilden, some familiar surnames there. Keith Kasulki and Cameron Mason will start on the 4th row. Mark King and Cameron Tilley on the 5th row.
Heading back to Eddie Albanese on row 6 with Sven Burkhardt, Brad Tilley, Paul Freeston, row 7. Greg Keane in the Porsche, Nigel Benson on row 8, Ian Palmer, Leo Tobin on row 9, and Tony Hunter and Amanda Sparks rounding out the top 20.
Over the page to Jason Gomersall on that beautiful SLR 5000 alongside Wayne Mercer. We go back to rookie Graham Stewart and Robert Ingram. Andrew Fisher a long way back in the Jesus Racing number 9. Kerry McMahon, that car's been rebuilt after an incident in New Zealand. Rory O'Neill joins Graham Cook on the 14th row. And Bruce McLeod and Glenn Seaton to the back of this field. As I said, 13 cars having their lap times invalidated during that session, including Seaton. So his time from before wasn't good enough to keep him up the front. Absolutely. I think he only did one time. He did have that drama at the start where the car wouldn't start. He had to come into the pits, put the window net up because he couldn't get that back up. He obviously pulled that down to wave his hand to signal to everybody that he had a problem. So he's going to be one of the hard chargers coming through, as is Fisher. So watch for him from the back of the field. Some tough guys at the front, some in the middle, and a couple of names towards the back of this NZ Touring Car Masters field. So they roll around the back in formation. What an awesome sight as this championship's about to go green for the first time in 2015. They're well behaved. You've shot that early. I have, haven't I? Yeah. Commentator's curse has followed me into live television. They'll come down to get the green flag here. And we're underway, good to go for the NZ Touring Car Masters for 2015 on the streets of Adelaide. So the run to the centre chicane is going to be Bow. Meadeke, who climbs across the curb straight away. Crick slots in the 3rd position. We head up the top, it's Gavin Bullis in 4th, Richards in 5th, and a climb to Wakefield Street on lap 1. Here we go, it's going to be, Fisher! Left front lock up, down the outside of Kasulki. If he makes his stick, he'll be on the inside to turn 5. In a good spot. Nice position there, but it was a bit dicey there to start with. Fisher has blazed his way through the field. Kasulki and him almost come together, and almost contact between Abel Nisa and Mark King. It was King, and now Gomersall wants to get through on the inside. It's the first day back at school, kids. Let's settle. King with a little bit of damage there on that left front. You see Mason right out wide. There's Bullis. Meadeke in front of Bow, first lap. Big move. Bow's got a problem here. He's going really slowly. And look at Bullis. He's going to make the most of this. Down into turn 9, the slowest point of this 14-turn circuit. And a run back behind the pit complex. So has Bow got an issue? Was it a gear change maybe at the end of the straight? Yeah, I'm not sure because they are 4 speeds, so there is no gear changes after turn 8. We'll see what happens here. No, he's blocking, so he feels like he can continue, but he's lost those 2 spots now. We know how hard Andrew Meadeke and Gav Bullis are as racers and hard to pass. So John Bow wouldn't have done that on purpose. There's definitely something there. You can see he's got no top speed. Greg Crick is all over him. And that shouldn't be the case. Here's a replay of the run down Brock Straight, Bartels Road, normally during the week, and that was a fairly easy pass, albeit a fast pass in there. Fisher and Kasulki still arguing over that position further back in the field. That was for 8th and 9th as we head down into the series of rights and lefts, turns 4, 5 and 6. There's your leaderboard. Meadeke from Bullis, Bow, and this man, Greg Crick, who we ride on board with as he heads on to Perry Street. Let's have a listen to Cricky down the straight here. Up to 3rd. Into top gear. You just hear that little pop. Bow is definitely struggling down the straight. You saw how fast Crick's going to get him here. Under brakes for turn 9. Easy as it can be. A little too easy, wasn't it? Got Brett Yilden trying to go down the inside of Jim Richards as well. That's a battle back there for 5th and 6th position. Lap 2 of 10. The NZ Touring Car Masters down to turn 11. Fisher's made a massive run there. He's already up in a 9th spot. Yeah. He's made huge amount of ground from starting well back beyond mid-pack And the best of the start coming through some of the Pro-Am class cars, which we'll talk about. Some of the Porsches that are out there. Down the final turn. To reel off this lap, it was Brad Tilley we saw heading into the Clipsal hairpin. And now into the centre chicane, working lap 3. Seaton on board with him now. One hand through Wakefield Street. Do you recommend that?
Here he's going to have a look up the inside. Not quite. Into second gear. Right up the tailpipe, he yielded here. Massive pressure. You can just see there on his gauges on the right-hand side of the little white gauge. There's a little light that flashes on, which is his shift light. That tells him when he needs to shift before the rev limiter. You'll see that coming down the straight here. As he's in second, he'll be up to third in a minute. There it is, big yellow light. Up to fourth. On the rev limiter down here in fourth. Nearly had the light on. Oh, close to the apex there, close to that inside wall. You can just see how much straight line speed Yulden's car's got.
Down to turn 9 he comes. On board with Glenn Seaton here on lap 3. A sweeping left-hander, which takes you back into the old Victoria Park Racecourse section of the circuit. I noticed too on that big long straight on Bartels Road, he was out looking for fresh air. These cars will be getting hot in these muggy conditions today.
Yeah, not so much probably the engine, but more so the brakes. I really want to try to keep those front brakes, front disc down calipers cool, or as cool as they can. You know, they're still not even halfway through their race yet. Got another 6 laps to go. And Bow now dropping back into the clutches of Jimmy Richards. So, going to be very interesting to see what's come about JB's car. That thing's normally quite a rocket down the straight, and at the moment he's really struggling.
Interesting. It's going to spice up the opening round of the championship. Of course, tomorrow we reverse half the field. To be determined by the results of this race. Down to turn 5. Back on board with Seaton. I just love the sound of these cars.
They're great, aren't they? You probably noticed that Glenn Seaton's actually left foot braking, and he won't use the clutch on the upshift. He'll just lift.
Bringing some of his old go-karting expertise back from the days.
These aren't a standard gearbox. They are a race gearbox. They don't have synchro gears. They are a straight-cut dog box. Very similar in a way to a bad supercar, so you don't need to use the clutch to upshift.
Some super slow-mo stuff here in the centre chicane. This guy's testing the limits. This is Nigel Benson, a man that's got a really cool Holden ute that goes around Australia pulling massive stunts. Look at the smoke off the rear. Now, does that come loose? Because that's...
It doesn't look very good, does it?
No, you can see it. Well, actually, it's come off. I was saying it was a ray on that car, and the wheel has parted ways with Nigel Benson's HQ.
Where's that wheel going? There it is there, just following up the road.
I hope it doesn't get collected.
Wow.
Well, the Mustang's behind it also. So he would have pulled up to the left-hand side here. This is where it happened. We go back, and the yellow flag's waving, middle of Wakefield Street here. So Andrew Miedeke continues to lead. The gap 9/10 of a second on lap 5. That's the battle back for first, second, and third. Bullis has been quiet, but now starting to show the strengths of the 16 machine. Had some good success. He's had 6 race wins on the streets of Adelaide. If he can get the job done, he'll be the man with the most wins.
Now, the fastest guy in this trio of 3 is this man here, Greg Crick, just pulling out a 31 flat. 4/10 faster than Bullis and nearly 6/10 faster than Miedeke, so he's on a charge.
And this battle still continues down Bartels Road in the run to turn 8. Glenn Seaton, who was the last man apart from John Bow to have a pole position in the Touring Car Masters, and that was at Bathurst in 2013. And it's on Eddie Abel-Nisa, Andrew Fisher, and Keith Gasulki. Oh, this is going to end bad. And Andrew Fisher is heading down towards Fullerton Road and out of here.
I could just see it happening. The rear's starting to chatter. Massive wheel hop in the rear. You get that with these types of cars with a leaf spring rear end. Very, very hard to control that once they're locked up. And as soon as that happens, it's like you're on ice. It's like the car doesn't want to stop, and you can see him there just sail down the escape road way, you know, probably 50 k's too fast for the corner.
And it'd feel like it'd go on forever, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You know, and you break it at 200 metres in these things, so you got 200 metres to think about it before you're going to hit somebody. Slow
motion kind of stuff. We saw Bullis getting out of shape through the centre chicane. Nothing unusual there. good to see this NZ Touring Car Masters. Here's a replay.
Watch the rear wheels here, hopping. You can see the marks, hop, hop, hop the whole time. No chance for those rears to actually grip the road and help slow down. You don't realise how much the rear wheels do help slow up a car. Yes, it's probably 60 to 70% front, but that rear 30 to 40% makes a massive difference.
Back on board with Greg Crick here. Lap 6 of 10. The NZ Touring Car Masters here in Adelaide. Fisher, of course, doing double duties in the V8 Utes we saw earlier today and over the course of this Clipsal 500 weekend. But here's your leading pack. Miedeke from Bullis and Greg Crick, who's the fastest man last time around, 131.01. Back on board with the Mopar man. And the 72 machine
that's looking very, very terminal there.
And that's Bruce McLeod, the plumber from the Northern Territory for BMR Industries. And, yep, that's not tyre smoke that's coming out of the engine.
I was going to say, I saw that car going slow when we had the shot of the 3 litres coming up Wakefield Street.
So to be in the category for a couple of events now, as we go back to some of the Pro-Am and Pro Sports races in this category. We should talk about that. It's in the field. You've got races that within a race, like the old days.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's more than one class here in TCM.
The Pro-Am drivers for drivers not considered to fill in the Master class, the guys and girls that have won championships in Touring Car Masters or other categories. As Fisher goes down the inside, he's trying to claw his way back through the field. Goes past Tony Hunter there. But he's got a lot of work to do, a long way down the field.
Oh, Greg Crick has just spun. He's just hit the back of Gav Bullis.
Just as we went on board with him, he spun at the top of turn 6, and this will drop him out the top 7 or maybe top 10. Comes out behind Yilden now, that angry pack that's headed by Kasulki and Eddie Abel-Nisa. He's going to punish the car now, isn't he?
Absolutely. He'll have a crackdown here at Kasulki, I reckon, under brakes. Nah, he's going to just regroup himself.
This is not the kind of pack he wanted to get back involved with.
I think if he can get clear of Kasulki, he won't have any problems pulling away. He's quite pacey, so with these guys fighting it out, if he can get past and get clear air, I think he'll be fine. But it has dropped him down, back down to 8th spot when he has it right up there, solid 3rd spot. So those sort of mistakes can really cost you a championship, and you can't afford to do that.
How's the short shift back through then? That's really old school, wasn't it?
It is old school.
End of lap number 7 of this race. Replay once again. So this will tell us the story on what happened.
Oh, look, Bullis has had a big slide. Crick's had a go. You watch.
He's a racer. He'd have a go.
Lock the rears up. You know, he could have stayed fairly straight there and hit the back of Bullis and turned him round, but he actually tried to miss him and sacrificed his own race, which is, you can see him there just trying to edge to the right.
It's an ambitious part of the track to do it, isn't it? Because not too many people have tried that and got away with it. There's just not enough room to do it. The squeal of those Hoosier tyres on the Greg Crick car. So we go back to Andrew Miedeke coming through turn 8 and Bullis. So they're shutting the race down. Long way back to John Bow, who's still got Jim Richards all over the back of him. It should be Seaton coming through. It is. And now Richards fancies a shot down the inside of John Bow and does.
There you go.
So this AMC Javelin that had 8 testing days at Sandown on the lead into this Clipsal 500 event, starting to hit its strengths. And it's still continuing further back. That's Cameron Tilley who gets through. Moves up another position and now begins the chase. Jason Gomersall, who is further back behind him. It's Eddie Abel-Nisa ahead of him, and Greg Crick and Keith Kasulki.
You can just see Cricky there. He's a bit frustrated. He is faster, but you've got to get around. It's very, very hard to pass. Kasulki's really good off the corners, and he's got good straight line speed. So Cricky's going to have to work hard for this.
Brilliant onboard shots of this Mopar Charger as he hits the centre chicane. That's Kasulki ahead. Looking lap 9 of 10 around the streets of Adelaide, the NZ Touring Car Masters. Long way back. Won't do nothing about it here.
He's having a bit of trouble there getting down into 2nd gear. And he's got Abel-Nisa all over the back of him. Tilley right behind him. Mark King. They're all lining up to have a shot.
There's about 5 or 6 cars involved in this battle now.
Tilly right over that curb, trying to get maximum drive.
He's got Mark King behind him. They hit Bartels Road, the longest stretch of bitumen on this circuit that was shortened.
Look at that, look at that array of cars.
It's great.
Ford Charger, Ford Valiant.
And now Crick finally will get past Kasuki here, or will he?
Yep, pulls it up nicely.
Abel Nisa fancies his chances down the inside in the Adelaide's cheapest cars entry. Run down to turn 11, but it's all been wrapped up for Crick. He's going to have to settle for 7th position here, you'd think, unless something dramatic happens in front of him with 1 and a bit laps remaining of race 1. This weekend, there's Jason Gomersall on the iSig Holden SLR 5000, the Tirana, latching onto the back of Mark King. Final lap here for Andrew Miedeke as they run up to turn 4.
Miedeke's done a good job here, but Gav Bullis is coming at him. I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew's just regulating that gap. Jimmy Richards has really surprised me. You know, that Javelin looked like it was, you know, he was struggling a little bit with handling, a little bit with setup. But, you know, he's just shown, you know, you stick with it. He's in P3 at the moment. John Bow in the TG Motorsports Mustang in P4. Still interested to know what's happened to JB. That's not unlike him. That's unlike him. He hasn't got the power that he normally has got. They blew past him down the straight at ease. Andrew just putting a slower car there, lap car in between, giving him some breathing space. Coming down.
Some of the Pro-Am cars in this final lap. The run down to turn 9. So just a few turns remaining for Andrew Miedeke in this one. The gap was 1 second coming into this. A little bit more than that. Come around the backside of the circuit. Richards in 3rd, Bow 4th, Seaton is 5th, Yilden 6th. They make the run to the final turn.
It's a good start to the year for Andrew. I know he's very fired up for a massive assault on this championship. He really wants it badly. That's a perfect way to start. First up, race 1 win.
And he'll do it on the streets of Adelaide. Lubrimax just re-signing the deal, and it's good to be back involved with Andrew Miedeke, who claims race 1 of the weekend here on the Adelaide Street Circuit. Gavin Bullis get home for 2nd position. Jim Richards will be 3rd, and here's that battle pack.
Gomersall up the inside.
Oh, hello. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. They bang doors, old school, to the finish line.
Who's got it? Gomersall got that, but I'm not sure if he's going to get away with that move.
Shorten that corner a bit, perhaps. We'll let the officials determine that one. And what a great race to open up proceedings, the NZ Touring Car Masters. Nobody would have picked that. John Bow looked dominant all weekend and clearly had an issue with that Wilson security entry.
He won't be happy with that. He'll come back firing, and there is Karsbach. This is all the other club. Oh, they're going around to the back here.
And Palmer it is. He's gone around. We saw him in dramas yesterday in the centre chicane. Someone had to pop, and it was him this time.
He's going to have to do a 3-point turn to get it into the start-finish to finalise his race here. Watch him here. He's 2nd in line here. That 2nd white car on the throttle way too early. Spins it around and was very lucky he didn't get...
Oh, and Porsche almost took the rear guard off the car. Yeah, Big Lou's way too early as he exited the final corner.
Oh, that's so close. Very lucky.
And they'll drop him right down the order. In fact, to 24th position when all was said and done. This is Gomersall going to the hairpin, and yeah, I think it's pretty evident.
Yeah, it's... I got a feeling that those two... I got a feeling those two positions are going to be reversed for some reason at the end of this race. Gomersall got it. He has got more straight line speed than Mark King, but got a feeling that that's not going to fly.
Half a car length at the end as we check out your results in race 1 of the NZ Touring Car Masters here at the Clipsal 500. Andrew Miedeke 1.4 seconds down the road of Gavin Bullis. Jim Richards finishes in 3rd. John Bow in 4th. Glenn Seaton got to 5th. And it was Yilden, Crick, Kasuki, Eddie Abel-Nisa in 9th, and Cameron Tilley in position 10. Mark King got to 11th. Jason Gomersall and Paul Freestone is next, followed by Mason Hunter, Brad Tilley, Leo Tobin, Carrie McMahon, Greg Keane, and Amanda Sparks in 20th. Back into some of the Pro-Am cars here. Wayne Mercer, Robert Ingram, Travis Edwards was in 13th, and Ian Palmer, who spun himself down to that position. Andrew Fisher, Graham Stewart, and Graham Cook. tough break for Rory O'Neill, Bruce McLeod and Nigel Benson.